whether you're a relationship guru or whatever, and then someone texts you and says, "Hey, didn't your girl get by some other guy?" I mean, you have the right to exclude yourself out of the conversation.
But don't you understand that Sneako's whole thing is about how he himself is the Chad? I never claimed to be a Chad or an alpha male anything. Other than me making jokes about living the trad life, I never said that, like, I am the example of how to have a healthy relationship.
That's right.
So then my experience really has nothing to do with it. What about before I was married? Could I still give this advice then?
You could, but I don't think you understand what I mean by credible.
You think that my experience and my... Hello.
Hello.
Greetings, how are you?
Good, how are you, Hunter?
I'm doing well. What were you interested in debating today?
I just have 2 questions, I'll be quick. We actually talked before. So my question is, and I'm not gonna go too deeply into your past, but my question is, why do you feel that you can speak on red pill topics, despite with your current position in life?
With going through a divorce?
Yes, and I feel that and again, I'm not gonna go because it's your business, but I feel like
you can get into my business, boy. It's okay. I talk friends all over the internet anyway. Go for it.
Yeah, but I feel like I think the average, if this would have happened to the average person, I feel that they would just exclude themselves out of the conversation. And I'm not saying that what you say is incorrect, but I feel that, why do you feel that you can still continue to talk about it?
Well, a couple things is, one, people for some reason are under the impression that, like, the whole, like, I got cucked for a black gangbang or something. Like, all of that's just false. None of that's true. So that's the first thing, is that a lot of people tend to think that what happened is some crazy fucking thing, when in reality there were, like, some DMs that leaked that showed, like, my ex contemplating certain things, some of which was after we'd already broken up but hadn't announced it. Like, a lot of it was just taken out of context. So that's the first thing. The other reason is that, like what you said, is my personal opinion really has no bearing on the type of shit I talk about. I don't need to be married even to know what the data suggests is better for a healthy marriage. And people try to get on me for that too, because they say, well, how did it work out for you then, Hunter? The truth be told, you can do everything right. Even if you're going the more progressive route, you can try to share responsibilities and everything. And you can't always make a marriage work. But I will say that us sharing responsibilities and being more progressive within our relationship, as far as treating each other equally and respectfully and whatnot, has also led to a very amicable divorce. So even in the face of my marriage ending, it's still being amicable. Everything is still fine. I'm not in, like, some fucking court or custody battle or some crazy shit. So I just think at the end of the day, it's like, I can talk about these because, one, my personal experience doesn't matter. And two, it doesn't matter how good you are with women. You sometimes can't make a marriage work. So the best thing you can do is how you handle it after.
Okay, so do you feel that the perception, the people, or like you can say, the haters' perception of you is unwarranted when it comes to that? Because
I don't think it's even unwarranted because of how many rumors were spread and how much shit got taken out of context. And I know there were a bunch of DMs that were spreading around that were from after we had already broken up, but people thought it was when we were still together. So they were using that to twist it and say that, like, she was cheating on me or something, when none of that was the case. So I wouldn't even say their perception is wrong. I just think their perception is based on misinformation.
No, well, now I have to go into it. I'm going to be respectful. But I feel that, I mean, everyone can do their own. I'm not saying that people should look it up because it's passe right now. But I feel that it is warranted because there have been several channels, Stardust, other people that have gone into this deeply, Big Profit Fascist or whatever, and we have sufficient information about what happened. And my point is that,
what is the information you think you have?
That there was that Carissa, there was intent to do things that were not compatible with marriage.
Yeah, but how many of those things were I aware of and okay with? Like, that's the thing. That's the question I would ask is, A cuck is somebody who watches their
Oh,
partner get banged by someone else.
yeah.
Usually, colloquially, a cuck is just someone who gets cheated on or something. So, regardless, my wife was never with anybody when we were
But
married.
and I understand that. And again, I'm not calling you cuck. That's first of all, the cuck is an insult. I'm not calling you cuck. But I feel that if there's intent, obviously there was intent with her having a conversation with him, and I think that's all people really need.
It depends what
If
conversation you're talking about. There was some like
uh, uh,
hypothetical thing about a gangbang for 8K, and she was like, maybe LOL. Like, people took that to mean that she left me to go actually have a gangbang, when in reality the DMs were like a hypothetical, would you do this for 8K? And she was like, maybe, or something. Like, it's such a fucking stretch.
Hunter, if there's messages between a 13-year-old girl and a 27-year-old boy saying, "Oh, hey, I want to come over and do something to you," that would be intent. That would be intent, Hunter.
When did she say that? Or did she say that once we were already broken up? That's the other thing. So is your argument that she had intent to do something, but then what, never did? I don't get it.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, then did she also have intent to stop talking to him when he started to try to make moves on her and make her uncomfortable?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I said that she did things that were not compatible with
Do you think she brought
with.
me up in those conversations? Do you think that when that guy was trying to make a move on her, she brought me up as well about how this isn't appropriate? This is not appropriate.
I've seen some messages. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like you're trying to say like she had intent or something. Your 27-year-old man with a 13-year-old girl thing is disanalogous completely, because that's underage. So that's a crime in and of itself. The intent being
Right.
to do something with an underage person is a hell of a lot different than a hypothetical DM with somebody that I knew she was DMing, and then her saying maybe she would do this thing that never actually happened, and then she eventually ghosted him because she made him uncomfortable. Or because he made her uncomfortable, sorry.
But I remember you said when this all happened that there were things that she said that you did not agree with.
So there were a
obviously
couple things she said that I found to be a little hurtful, but none of that was like intent to go and cheat on me.
Okay, well then that's I understand that. And
So then, yeah, that's why I'm at liberty still to talk about this. Even if I straight up got cucked and everything that the biggest haters said actually happened, I still would be completely valid in talking about the red pill stuff.
But I just don't agree with that. That's like me. That's like fucking Rachel Dolezal saying that she should be able to speak on black issues. Like that's not. I feel that it disqualifies you from speaking about this.
How?
Because Hunter, and again, I'm trying to be tactful. Because
is Tate married? Is Andrew Tate married?
He is not.
Does he talk about marriage and relationships? Is he at no liberty to do that?
He is, but the criticism is warranted for Tate because there are certain things that Andrew Tate has never done, and two, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But if someone said that there are certain things that Andrew Tate makes him a hypocrite, I'll agree with that. I'm not really an Andrew Tate fan. I mean, he's on my feed sometimes, but there are certain things absolutely that he says that are completely you could say baseless.
But everybody has the potential to make baseless claims, and a lot of the times people will try to say, "Well, because I have this personal experience, this justifies my baseless claim." I'm not talking about now. Listen, if my thing was my channel on my personal journey of being a married man, and now I'm going to continue my channel of being a married man if I'm not married, then yeah, you'd have a point. But that's not what I talk about. I talk about relationship dynamics. I talk about what the data suggests is more healthy dynamics for relationships. None of that ceases to be true, regardless of my personal experience, which is why on Twitter I asked somebody who was making the same argument, if a blind person tells you that the sky is blue, even though they cannot see the sky, are they correct or incorrect?
They're correct.
So then it doesn't matter about the personal experience when it comes to delivering accurate information. So long as you are not delivering information that is supposed to be a personal experience.
But that's not how people operate when it comes to if your brand is not credible, I feel that it is warranted that people do not listen to you.
It is credible. Nothing I've said is discredited.
But Hunter, it is because of your situation. If you're preaching a situation about healthy, and you have used your marriage when it comes to freaking I forget his name, the undead chronic guy.
When I said I was living the trad life, I was living the trad life at the time. I don't get how any of this has anything to do with anything.
So now it makes you not credible.
No, it doesn't, because my credibility was not built on me being the trad boy or something. That's not what made me have any credibility. That was something I would use occasionally when I was debating people usually. And by the way, all of which was accurate because I was married and living a more traditional lifestyle at the time. That doesn't devalue what I'm saying. The accuracy of the data I deliver.
Yes, I think it does. It does. It does. If I was telling you that all my information comes from InfoWars, what would you say? What would you say right now?
I would say InfoWars is not credible. I wouldn't say you're not credible. If you said all my info came from InfoWars, also my wife cheated on me, I couldn't be like, oh, well, your wife cheated on you, so that's why you have no credibility now.
But if I come to saying that, well, InfoWars is right about certain things, what would you then say?
If what? Sorry, say that again.
If InfoWars is right about certain things, they're never wrong. They're never wrong. What would you say?
No, I don't know if I'm not hearing you correctly. Listening, nobody's never wrong or never. Okay. What's the question here?
Well, my entire point is that if you are not credible, it really does not matter what you say.
You're saying that my situation makes me not credible, and that's what you're not understanding. So here's another example. If I make a channel about how important seatbelts are, but then I get in a car accident and the seatbelt doesn't work, and I fly out the windshield and break my leg, have I lost credibility to talk about the effectiveness of seatbelts?
That's disanalogous of what I'm saying.
How is that disanalogous?
Because one that wasn't your fault. If you want to say. If you want to say
my wife cheating on me may have not been my fault. What are you talking
But hold on. But you did do things in conjunction with Carissa that gave the impression that people call you the C word. I don't like using that word.
Fine, I don't care. You're not going to hurt my fifis. I'm good. But no, that doesn't. Sneeko is actually a cock. That's the other thing too. Is like Sneeko is a big leader of this whole red pill stuff. Why is his not? Why is his advice still valid within the red pill space?
I would say I would agree with you because I saw your comment on Twitter that when it happened you pinned the comment. I saw that. And
he was actually a cock. He was literally cocked. But still, do you realize how silly it would be if he came on my channel and said, Hunter, here's a better way. Here's how to attract women. And I said, yeah, but you got cucked once, so fuck you. You're wrong.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you with that. I would agree with you. I would.
Then why does my experience invalidate my stuff? What I'm saying.
Well, I think because the intensity. Well, one, because the intensity of what happened, and two, if Nico would ever do that, come on your platform and say and give you advice, I think that he has sort of like a list. He has. I'm pretty sure. Well, mind you, I don't know Sneeko.
Wait, Sneeko watched his girl that he was in love with get fucked by another guy. He talked about it publicly on a podcast. Why is that not as intense as what happened to me? Apparently, when all that happened was some DMs got taken out of context.
Do you want me to tell what happened? I mean, I think it's on the same field of Sneeko watching his wife get fucked.
And do you think that this invalidates Sneeko's advice then?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, I feel like you just changed what you said because a minute ago it sounded like you were saying something else. It sounded like you said you didn't think that.
No. I think that if something happens to you, if you have a brand of something, whether you're a relationship guru or whatever, and then someone texts you and says, "Hey, didn't your girl get fucked by some other guy?" I mean, you have the right to exclude yourself out of the conversation.
But don't you understand that Sneeko's whole thing is about how he himself is the Chad? I never claimed to be a Chad or an alpha male anything. Other than me making jokes about living the trad life, I never said that, like, I am the example of how to have a healthy relationship.
That's right.
So then my experience really has nothing to do with it. What about before I was married? Could I still give this advice then?
You could, but I don't think you understand what I mean by credible.
You think that my experience and my personal life determines whether or not what I'm saying is credible, but you're not understanding that what I'm talking about is not coming from a place of personal experience. It's coming from a place of research and data.
Okay. I agree with that.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we could agree then.
Bye.